Today was to be a big day for both Sony and camera fans. Sony will be streaming their virtual press conference live today at 10 a.m. Pacific time. But Sony already gave us a list of products that they would be covering in their live stream. They gave it to us just a couple of hours ago. Nowhere in there is any mention of the A7 line at all. What on earth were they thinking?
Delivering informative capability-based reviews and tutorials on camera gear, filming techniques, and content creation.
Hi, I'm Simon and this is The Ordinary Filmmaker. If you're new here, please like and subscribe as it really helps grow my channel, and it's not going to cost you a cent at all. All the links to everything I talk about in this video are in the description down below. So today, we knew that this was going to be a broadcast cinema event for Sony. This was supposed to be when NAB 2020 was taking place. In fact, Sony was supposed to have this announcement last week and they've moved it to today. Now, I'm not surprised. You see, earlier today, we got news from Sony. Sony more or less said, hey, look, these are all the products we're going to be covering in today's virtual press conference. And they gave us some videos to talk a bit more detail about it. Kind of deflating the balloon, so to speak. And in that, there was absolutely no mention of an A7, an A7S III, or the A7 IV. Now, the A7 IV, I know there's some rumors that it's coming out soon. It came out in 2018, so, you know, if we went a little longer on that one, no love lost. But the A7S III, come on, it's been about 5 years now. Now, that doesn't mean that Sony isn't going to go ahead and announce it in the next couple of weeks or next couple of months. We don't know. This is not the end of the world for Sony. This is just a major disappointment. We have no news, no teaser, nothing on the A7S III or the A7 IV. And it was kind of strange. I just published another video earlier this morning saying, hey, you want to watch this live stream? We're going to have some interesting information. And shortly after that video was published, Sony came out and said, hey, this is everything we're covering, and here's some more information about that. Really deflating things. And I was talking to some other YouTube operators. There was James, and he's deeply disappointed. Others are deeply disappointed. Canon is on the ball here. Canon is really doing a good job of marketing their new cameras, the EOS R5. And we were really expecting something from Sony. And it's not there. It's not there at all. I'm really, really disappointed. How can they go ahead and have a virtual press conference on the heels of Canon's last week? And you see, this was supposed to be last week. Then Canon announced that they were going to have their virtual press conference 1 hour after. Now, I thought this was great news. Great, it's kind of like NAB. We've got Sony speaking, then we've got Canon speaking. Well, Sony went ahead and moved it to today, and now I'm not surprised at that at all. You see, if they had have kept it to last week, and then Canon announced their information, the C300 Mark II, and a bunch of other broadcast and cinema-related products, and then right at the end, they gave them some major tease with the third iteration of specifications for the R5, and these were detailed video specifications. No one would have been talking about Sony after that. So we've had a week, and now we're thinking, okay. And I said in my last video, I said I wouldn't be surprised if we had some sort of teaser, something, anything. Even if it was one of those Apple-type teasers. You know what Apple does when they've got a major conference coming up or a major event? They'll put out just a one-pager with the Apple logo or maybe some graphic arts, and it'll kind of get people guessing as to what the event's about. It's about education, it's about video, phones, whatever. We get the point. Apple's thinking about things. They're communicating with us. The biggest problem I have with this is not the broadcast stuff. Yeah, they talked about some great stuff about IP. They talked about the FX9 version 2. Their monitors are cheaper, but this is The Ordinary Filmmaker, and I cover The Ordinary Photographer as well. And there's absolutely nothing in this live stream that would get The Ordinary Filmmaker or Photographer to pay attention. Not even a single teaser. And why did they announce the information that they were going to talk about ahead of time? I'm deeply disappointed. If you saw my mood in the first one, I was kind of excited, I was kind of giddy. It kind of reminds me of back when I was around 16, 17 years of age, and this was back in the 80s. I'd say it was more about 17 or 18 because it was around 1987. And back then it was all about computers. Each new computer had more colors, more sound, more better everything. Because just a few years before that, all we had was black and white or green and black or orange and black. And then Commodore started making things interesting in the computer industry. And in Toronto, they held the first ever World with Commodore, and everything there from the VIC-20, Commodore 64, 120, and the brand new platform, the Commodore Amiga. And this thing was, it was well ahead of the competition. It literally leapfrogged generations of computers, offering preemptive multitasking when that was only available in mainframes, full color graphics. I think it was, is it 10-bit color? 4,096 colors available. It offered stereo sound. It was truly the first multimedia computer ever, and the animation it could do on a base model was incredible. Later on, shows like Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5 were filmed 100% on the Amiga platform using the video toaster, and it was really, really exciting. And so I felt that sense of, wow, this is exciting, just like I did with Canon's announcement. And because Canon didn't tease ahead of time with everything they were going to talk about, you kept waiting. Are they going to talk about the R5? Are they going to talk about the R6? Are they going to talk about anything that the ordinary filmmaker is going to be interested in anything that I can create a wonderful dynamic video about? And they did. It was exciting. I can tell by your comments you were excited too. But today, the complete opposite of that. People are stunned. I had a poll out, and I know it's not scientific, but many of you responded, and most of you, all but 20% of you, were stunned. You couldn't believe it. There was nothing. Another 20% of you said, yeah, I'm disappointed, but you know what? We're going to get something. And we are. This is not the end of Sony. This doesn't mean we're not going to get the A7S III. It doesn't mean we're not going to get the A7 IV or either of those two this year. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that Sony badly handled how they presented information at this press conference. They need to follow companies like Apple or Commodore, learn from Commodore's mistakes, follow Canon. Canon this year has done an incredible job of marketing their products. I believe they control the leak of the EOS R5 in late January. Everything on that leak list has come to pass, as confirmed by Canon. And then we had 3 separate leaks about 3 weeks apart. So Canon is beating that drum of information, getting their customers hyped up, and causing the rest of us who are looking at the A7S III, or maybe even Fuji, or even Panasonic to go, wow, that does look interesting. Branding aside, sure, I might have a bunch of Sony glass, or Fuji glass, or Panasonic glass, but that looks good. You can be a Ferrari fan and still love a Corvette or a Porsche, even though you're a Ferrari fan. Now, that's not it for news. May is going to be a very interesting month, and essentially, it's May now. It's currently my lunchtime, which puts us at around, May 30th, halfway through the day. But in Asia, where a lot of you guys are watching this right now, it's already May the 1st. I was going to say June the 1st. I'm jumping months. We're already into May. And so I'm going to start thinking like we're in May. So we have another virtual press conference coming up on May the 8th, and this is from Panasonic. I know what you're thinking. I know what I'm thinking. I don't want to get too excited or hyped up. But what could Panasonic possibly be talking about? Well, the S1 line, they just released that last year, so I really don't expect a refresh. They could do an update, a firmware update or something, but I don't really expect a whole lot. What I do expect is some nod or teaser about the GH6. We've heard nothing. Panasonic, just like Sony, has done a really good job of preventing leaks, and I don't think that's a good thing. In today's day and age, you want to control the flow of information. The complete absence of information doesn't help. There's no conversation going. This flow of information, these leaks, these rumors, they get people discussing, for good or bad, they get people interested. So when you completely stop that flow of information, what do? You stop the discussion, you stop the interest. And if you do a search on YouTube and you want to see which brands are popular, they're the brands that create conversation. So Sony and Panasonic both are absent there. But I'm going to watch that one. I'm going to be excited about that one too. I really hope that we see something about the GH6, but who knows? We really don't know. Now, the end of the month, Canon's going to own the end of the month. I don't know if it's going to be around May the 20th, 24th, but it's going to be right around that time. That was when Photo Keynote was supposed to take place, and I believe Canon, true to its form, is going to stick with their announcement, and they're going to do a full announcement of the EOS R5. And if Canon is doing what Canon has been doing for the past, 3, 4, 5 months, they're going to do a full-blown 1-hour show on the EOS R5. They're going to really blow this thing out. They're going to take a page from the Commodore Business Machines when they announced the Amiga. They booked the Lincoln Center, they brought in Deborah Harry, they brought in Andy Warhol, and they made a huge event. Now, this is virtual, so we're not going to do that, but I think they're going to do something impressive. Hopefully, we hear about the EOS R6 at the same time. Hopefully, we'll hear about some other things. Now, while we're still on Canon, I want to talk about something else that I heard on Canon Rumors today. They said that Canon Rumors is coming out with 2 additional mirrorless bodies next year. This company is on fire. It's like somebody lit a fire to the backside and they can't put it out. So this year we're getting the EOS R6, the EOS R5, a high megapixel version of the 5D SR. We're also going to be supposed to be getting an EOS RP equivalent. Now, could some of those get pushed into 2021? Yes, definitely. These are rumors and news can change, and I wouldn't be surprised if Canon does push some of these to next year. This is a CR2 rumor, which means that they're pretty confident it's coming from a known source, but there's very light on detail, very little information. So what cameras we're going to get next year, who knows? It's just pure speculation. But back to today. I love Sony. I purchased a lot of Sony equipment over the years. My very first Sony purchase was the Sony Walkman. I don't have any cassettes with me, but those of you that are as old as me will remember the Sony Walkman. It was incredible. You could make your own mixtapes, take your own music with you, put it in your cassette recorder, and listen to it on the fly, whether you're out walking, out at the park, down at the beach. It was incredible. I loved it. I mean, today, yes, we can do it with our phones, and the Sony Walkman was a little bit bigger than our iPhones, but not that much bigger when you consider some of us with our virtual wallets. I really like Sony. I bought into the PlayStation as well. I bought their stereo components. And I was ready to jump ship from Canon to Sony in 2018 for the A7S III. But nothing happened. Then in the spring of 2019, we're going to get the A7S III. We didn't. Then in the fall, we're going to get the A7S III. We didn't. In the spring of 2020, we're going to get the S3. We haven't yet. There's only one more month, well, May, June, so there's 2 more months left in this first half. And this is where I think things really need to happen. But we haven't heard anything. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But Canon's controlling the hype machine right now. And Sony needs to create some of their own hype. They've got the technology. They've got the brand. They've got the know-how. My question is, have they been sitting on their duffs and not doing anything with the A7S III? Have they just talked about exceeding our expectations? Because here's the thing. Sony keeps telling us something wonderful is coming. And we keep asking, what? Something wonderful. Trust us, something wonderful is coming.
Something's going to happen.
What? What's going to happen?
Something wonderful.
What?
I understand how you feel.
Okay, sure. Really? What is it? You've been saying that for 5 years now. 5 years. This is a technology company, a camera company. You've been saying that for 5 years? 5 years. Look, I'm not a Sony fan. I'm not a Panasonic or Fuji fan. I'm a technology fan. I love technology. I love innovation. My favorite TV show is Star Trek because it portrays a very positive idea of what the future is and how technology is used for the betterment of our lives, for the betterment of ourselves. It uses a different kind of economics, an economics where we can enrich ourselves through education and knowledge. I'm just at a loss here. Just, Sony, what are you doing? You keep telling us you're working on something wonderful. Show us. Show us. Tease us. Give us a little bit of an announcement. Okay, tomorrow's May. Turn over a new leaf. Just come out and say, hey, guess what? We're going to do a press conference. Do one right away. Surprise us. Do something un-Sony-like. I know you can do it. I really wish I had Casey with me from Camera Conspiracies right now. I'd love to do one of his boardroom settings with Casey. I'd love to play the straight man of Sony. No, I think actually wouldn't Casey do a better straight man of Sony than me? I'm too hyped up. I can't get over that. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on here. And I know some of you say, well, you called it wrong in your previous... I did. Look, I'm not going to get things right all the time. That's the thing with analysis and opinion. You see, I don't just report rumors as Canon Rumors or Sony Rumors puts out there. I provide my own bit of analysis and opinion because facts by themselves are boring. They don't have any life to them. I want to create life. I want this channel to be more than just news and rumors and information. I want it to be entertaining. I want it to be a place where you can come to get some information and feel like after you left, you got value for your time that you spent. Sure, it doesn't cost you anything to watch this video, but in a way it does. It costs your time, and time is valuable. So I want to thank you very much for tuning in, for watching my channel here today. And stay tuned. May is going to be a very interesting month. Who knows, we might get more information today. But that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. All equipment used and notes are placed in the description box, show more box, or down arrow thingy next to the title on the mobile app.